Oh my goodness. Hood Times update. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. I'm Bernard Fields, and today we are going to be doing one of many movie news updates as to what's going on out there in the film world. And right now, what seems to be really hot is the Netflix Good Times reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it. It is something that I believe the general public is screaming out loud at the top of their lungs. We don't want this. What are you doing? What are you doing, Netflix? I've even seen some comments that we're going to get to later on today, but just stick around and we're going to find out what some of those comments are. But before we do that, Carl Jones, one of the writers of The Boondocks, who worked with Aaron McGruder to give us one of the best satirical type of cartoons, or I should say animations, brought to us within our generation, The Boondocks. I highly recommend you go and you check that out. But he came out last week amidst all of the chaos, all of the backlash that was happening with this whole Good Times, that he was like, listen, I had nothing to do with it. Let's go ahead and just take a look at what he said here. Take a look at this. He says here on Twitter under I am Carl Jones, if you're wondering where you can see this for yourself. He says, for the record, I was involved with the Good Times animated series in the very, very beginning, but due to creative differences, I had to walk away. So I haven't even seen one episode or script of this version of the show. So that lets me know right there that there was another version of this show, something that he was part of, that he was probably pitching out ideas and people were like, yeah, I'm on board with it. This sounds great. This sounds awesome. And then it started drifting. It started shifting in a direction that made him say, and I quote, I had to walk away. Not that he was like, I thought it was best, or, I was just, wanted to just do. No, he said, I had to walk away. Had to. That's a very strong statement. And he also made it very clear. Look, he said in the very, very beginning. So they didn't even get into the nitty gritty before he walked away from this project because of creative differences. What could those creative differences be? Think about that, guys. Like, what could have made such a phenomenal writer turn his back on what could have seemed to be the perfect setup for more social commentary about, the Black experience here in America? He had to pack up shop and he had to go. He had to go. So that leaves me with the question, well, who was left behind to take the lead in writing this content? Because obviously it got made. It got made. So let's just take a moment and let's just figure out by going to IMDb and let's see who was responsible for writing the show, because you're going to see something, unless they changed it as of late, it's going to make you scratch your head. Let me see here. We have Good Times 2024. Let's see what we got. All right, so let's take a look at this together. So you have Good Times here, and you have the creators, Renata Shepard and Carl Jones. Carl Jones being one of the creators for this show. If I was Carl, I probably wouldn't want my name up there as one of the creators, because people are going to assume that you're still attached to it and that you had something to do with it. But if it was that bad for you to walk away, then I would also take my name off the project. Excuse me, but looking at this, it says right here, it says the Evans family must manage the challenges of contemporary life like social issues. And that's the reason why I said in the very beginning, I was like, you know what? I think that there was a little bit of toe dipping into the pool of the Boondocks. I can't 100% say yes, but I feel like that's what they were doing. And now it makes sense because Carl Jones was attached to this project in the very, very beginning, and then he walked away, but that didn't mean that he took his ideas with him. He took his voice, he took his vibe with him, and that left, let's see who that left behind to try to take on and write in the likeness of Carl Jones. Let's see, let me see, the cast and crew that might give us the writers. I mean, right now it's still only saying series writing credits. It says Carl Jones as a creator. Renata Shepard was a co-creator, and she's responsible for 10 of the episodes. So it seems like we're going to have a 10 episode season. And then it says unknown episodes for Carl. So at least right there, it kind of backs up what he was saying, which was I had nothing, like I backed out. I have no idea what this version of Good Times, or as some people are calling it, Hood Times, is all about. So you have here, just scrolling down the series cast, Norman Lear. That's interesting. I wonder what if he lent a voice, or I don't know. But here we go. Let's look at the producers. Steph Curry, number one. Steph Curry is number one listed here, which I believe he's the top executive producer. The executive producers are the ones that are attached to the money. They're the ones that's like, financially backing this up. So Seth MacFarlane. Now, Seth MacFarlane, he's responsible for The Family Guy, The Cleveland Show, and he has a particular sense of humor that appeals to a generation of people, or a type of people, a culture, subculture. And so I've heard it going around. People were like, well, that only left, Seth MacFarlane to be a writer, but he's not listed as a writer here. He may have had some say so, but he's not listed here as being a writer or even like a co-writer. It's only those two people. And if Carl backed out, then I would assume people are just assuming that Seth stepped up to the plate and has something to do with the writing. These other people, I don't know. Brian Portugal, Renata Shepard, and she's also listed as a producer. You have associate producers up here. Carl Jones is also an executive. I don't know if that meant that he pulled his money out of this either. Again, he is still associated with this. And I find that to be very, very, very interesting, right? So what do you all think? Like, do you think that he should completely back out and have nothing to do with this? Because if the crap hits the fan and this information that's up on his IMDb isn't changed, then we're going to be, it could be doing some damage. It could be doing some damage to his brand. But let's go ahead and continue to keep moving on. Now, I want to see about how much hate, just how much hate is Good Times getting right now. I can imagine that it's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. There has, as of today, been 226,000 views on Netflix, which is low. It didn't even break 500,000. So of that, you have a certain amount of people out here that ain't feeling it. They ain't feeling it. So let's go ahead and see what it is they ain't feeling. Trying to pull it up here. Give me a second. So it's not showing a thumbs down, but listen, I'm gonna pull it up over here real quick so you guys can know just how many thumbs down it has received at this point. This is interesting. Okay, so we have here that this video has only received, as you all can see, 4,400 likes. That's it. That's it. Out of 250,000 views, it only has gotten 4.4 likes compared to 28,000 dislikes. 28,000 dislikes. And I'm sure there are plenty of comments that we can read here that are just backing up the reasons why people don't like it. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to my page where you guys have left some comments, and we're going to look at some of those reasons as to why you liked it or you dislike it. The ratio still stands about the same. There's like a handful, small little pinch of people out there that's like, oh yeah, I'm here for it. And then you have a majority that are like, no, we didn't ask for this. Why are we settling for this? This is ridiculous. So let's go ahead and take a look at what people are saying about Good Times on my channel. This is nuts. Absolutely, positively nuts. How you all doing? All right, so let's take a look at some of the top comments. By the way, I want to say thank you guys for getting me to 6K views on this reaction. Thank you all so much. And that lets me know that this is something that you all want to talk about. And we're going to take a little bit deeper. We're going to dig a little bit deeper here in a few, as soon as we get finished watching this, because I got something for you all. I got something for you. So as you can see here, people are saying, it looks awful. I hope he goes away soon. It's not. It's not going to go away soon. This is the reason why. For those who remember Velma, Velma was a reimagining of the Scooby-Doo franchise, and it got ratioed to hell. It was just like, oh, this is horrible. This is pathetic. But guess what? Because of the views, it got greenlit for a second season. Now, I don't know if it still stands as being greenlit, but the last I heard, they said, oh, the season 1 did so well, we're going to come back with season 2. And people were like, no, why? Because people were secretively watching it and enjoying it, or they were hate watching it to try to watch a slow train wreck. You know how it is when you're just like, oh no. And then it's just like, it's just too late. You're like, oh. That's what it's like watching these types of shows. You watch it out of pure curiosity and hate. So it's not going to go anyway no time soon. And it said, this isn't good time. This is demon times. What does this one say right here? This one says, that just set us back 1,000 years. Our community is screwed. This was absolutely ridiculous. And then I got 54 thumbs up. Now, I will say this. I don't know if it sets us back 1,000 years, because 1,000 years, if y'all know your history, that is, no, you don't want to go back. If you had a choice to go back from last week to 1,000 years, or from the 1970s to 1,000 years, or heck, the mid 1950s, which one would you pick? You would pick you would pick the more current, because it is not that bad. Not that bad. But I understand the sentiments. I understand, you're just expressing yourself, but let's keep on going. Right? So this should be called Hood Time. That's where I got it from. So shout out to Beta Finko. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but you see it right there. I'm giving you your flowers. You said it should be called Hood Times. This doesn't need to tarnish the classic. And I agree. I feel like that if it was at this point, seeing that Carl is no longer involved with this, I'm like, I don't know. Like he backed out because it was bad. He backed out because it just had to be bad. So I kind of am leaning a little bit more towards being a little leery. I'm like, I don't know. But moving on, some people are saying you gotta leave this. Some shows you just gotta leave alone. It says Seth MacFarlane is the guy that created Family Guy, American Dad, and the Cleveland Show spinoff from the Family Guy. And all of his work shows, shows Black people in a stereotypical format. So when I saw his name I know the show is going to be straight dumpster juice. And it has 17 thumbs ups. So you could tell there are people on here they're not feeling it. They're not feeling it at all. Oh, this guy looks like Snoop and it's funny. I agree. I do look like Snoop. I mean, come on, guys, look at that. Look at that. Right? I do look like Snoop and it is funny. But look, check this out. People are just not feeling it. They're not feeling it. I don't think that I think because it got ratioed to the Lakes of Fires. I don't know if it's going to be able to bounce back. I just don't know. Which brings me to my next point. I want you all to know that I am going to be doing movie reviews. I'm going to have a whole nother playlist that's going to be dedicated strictly to that. But I think I want to kick it off with Good Times, because if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be releasing April the 12th. And I don't know if it's going to be all episodes dropping all at once or not. But regardless, I will be watching each episode and I will be taking an in-depth review of each episode, watching it so that you don't have to watch it, because I get it. I understand. People, you're like, I'm not watching that trash. Why would I watch that? Why would I subject myself to that? That's horrible. I get it. I get it. That's why you guys have me. I'm going to watch it and I'm going to give you my honest, and I'm talking about straightforward honest. If it's hot garbage, then I'm going to let you know it's hot garbage. But if it's good, I'm going to also let you know that it's good. I'm going to do the best that I can to not be biased. But I'm going to come straight forward with it. Like, is the animation good? Is the sound good? Is the storyline good? How are the characters? What's the storyline like? Like if all those things, because I separate them all when I do a review of a movie or an episode or a season, I always try to split it up so I can be fair. I just don't want to say, oh, it was good, or I don't want to say it was bad, or I would say, meh. I want to be able to have a full analysis of what I'm looking at, so that way I can make sure that I'm not going to be biased. I want to be very, very, very unbiased. And I hope that you guys tune into that. It's going to be amazing. So my question is, will you be watching Good Times on Netflix with me? I hope so. Let me know. Leave a comment down below. I do the best that I can to read all the comments. Gosh, over the past 3 days, it has been nonstop comments and I've been hitting all of them. Thank you guys for sticking out with me. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Also, subscribe if you haven't. I try to do the best that I can to drop each and every single day. There's going to be more content coming. We're going to have more reviews. We're even going to take a little deep dive into what it is that I do as a filmmaker. Because no, I'm not just a YouTube guy on here who loves film and I'm just like, yeah, I want to talk about movies. No, I make films as well. So enough about me. I want to hear more about you. Leave a comment down below and I will catch you guys next time. Remember to always put forth your best. Say it with me, guys. Peace in and confusion out.